Welcome to the Side Hustle Podcast, episode 1. On this podcast and a YouTube channel, we react to finance gurus' advice right here on YouTube, and also are starting this podcast on Spotify and YouTube as well, where we take a look at one side hustle in every episode and break down how it works, how much money you can make with that side hustle, and finally, we're going to grade all of the aspects of the side hustle on a score out of 10. So, for the first episode, we're going to look at a side hustle that is near and dear to my heart because it is a side hustle that I still do today, and that is going to be copywriting. So, what exactly is copywriting? It's essentially just being a writer and a freelance writer at that. So I don't have a specific contract with any company. Essentially, you'll get paid by various companies, could be websites for your services, and basically what you're going to deliver them is an article that you have written. So essentially, it can be any kind of writing that you get paid to do for someone else. For me, what I specialize in is going to be sports and sports betting content and writing. So I write for various sports websites and provide them content that drives traffic to their website where they can sell their audience some kind of product. It could be something like a promo code to a sports betting site where they get paid out if someone signs up for that. Also, they could just have a content website where they just want as much traffic as they can and they'll sell ad space on there or something like that. So some examples of stuff I have written are reviews of other sports betting platforms like DraftKings or FanDuel for sports betting content sites. I've written for the Heisman Trophy winner Robert Griffin III on his website. I've written countless game previews for all kinds of sports and even YouTube scripts, for those NBA or NFL YouTube channels and so on, things like that. All right, so the first point and question I'm going to address with this side hustle is how easy it is to get started. So this is an extremely important metric that's often overlooked because a lot of side hustles look and sound really good up front, but in reality, the barrier to entry is going to be too high and it's going to be too hard to actually make any money with this. So this means that you could try for months to make a single dollar and literally get no results, which means you will make nothing for your time put in, and you can also put in money up front and end up making nothing back. But with copywriting and freelance writing in general, it is fairly simple to get your first job and get paid. So, how would I recommend doing this and getting your first job to get paid with copywriting? So, first thing I would do is set up or log in to your freelancing site if you already have been freelancing on some of these sites. To start, I would recommend Fiverr and setting up a gig. So, that's what they call it on Fiverr. It's different on other platforms, but essentially a gig is something that you're offering. So in this case, we're going to be offering our writing services. So before you finish setting up this gig, it's going to be important to pick a niche to write on so people can find your services easier. So instead of just offering my generic copywriting services, I offer copywriting specifically for sports articles and sports betting articles in particular. So this definitely narrows down the amount of competition that you're going to have, and in return will get you more work. And that's what we want. We want more work so we get paid more and more often. So there's literally tens of thousands of people trying to copyright on Fiverr, but having a specific niche you write on already will make you look like an expert in that space, number one. And number two is going to make you stand out. So if someone is looking for sports copywriting, they will only get, 1,000 results instead of if someone had just typed in copywriting, there's going to be tens of thousands of results. So definitely can make you stand out even more. You can even set up multiple gigs on Fiverr in different areas of writing. So you can have a sports copywriting gig. You can have one about technology or pop culture, or definitely helps to start with something you're interested in and know a lot about. So if you're interested in any of those things or something else that people may need writing content on, it could be story writing as well, something like that. That's what you're going to want to do. So there are also two very important things to do with the setup of your gig to start. So begin working for extremely cheap. This is very important. So instead of just charging out of the gate, $20 for a short article on Fiverr specifically, the cheapest you can charge is $5. So start out with $5. So you're going to get more orders to begin with doing it this way, and that's what you want. You want orders, and in return, you're going to get reviews. So you're looking for 5-star reviews. Fiverr will bump you up in the search results if you have a lot of reviews, especially good reviews. Without reviews, it's going to be hard to get a lot of orders, especially if you're not charging the cheapest amount. So definitely that is the first thing to recommend to you guys when creating your gigs, is start really cheap. After that, then you're going to gradually increase your prices over time. So for me personally, I started charging $5 for 300 words, and now I charge $25 for 200 words, and that's the minimum I'm going to accept. I won't do anything under 200 words. So you can see I've bumped it up a lot. So I was charging $5 for 300 words. Now it's $25 for 200 words. So I lowered my words minimum, and also am charging 5 times the amount. So the second most important thing with your gig is to actually show your face. So people want to see who they're working with so they can trust that person. And if they know it's a real person that looks like a normal person that's trustworthy, they're more inclined to work with you. So just include your face in the thumbnail of the gigs on Fiverr or Upwork. I mean, it sounds a little weird, but it definitely works. So the first ranking here, we're going to rank how easy it is to get started. I would give it an 8 out of 10 with this. So all you have to do is set up multiple writing gigs on freelancing sites like Fiverr, and then offer cheap services, and you should at least get one order in the first week to start making money. So it's not going to be the easiest thing to start up. That's why I give it an 8 out of 10. You have to be able to come up with a good looking gig and put in a little work up front to get started here, but there's going to be no cost to you to start this up. It's 100% free to set up gigs on Fiverr and most other freelancing websites. So you're not going to have to risk any money up front. It's just going to be the time amount spent. So that also will play into the grade of 8 out of 10. And that's a big bonus. I mean, not having to spend money up front with this. All right, so now that was just the first step in starting this new copywriting side hustle and making money with it. So the next step is going to be to build that side hustle up to where you can actually make some serious money. Doing $5 orders, even if you do 20 of them in a week, you're only making $100. So to do this with freelance writing, you need to get those reviews so people can trust you. And once you have a decent amount of reviews and you're starting to get so many orders that you don't really have all the time to write them all in a day, or the amount of time you've allotted to writing, if it's just a couple hours per day, if you're running out of time and find yourself working more than you want to, that's when you're going to start upping your prices. So if you're getting too many orders that you're working 4 hours per day when you only wanted to work a couple, like I said, then you're going to up your prices. So you can do less work and get paid the same amount. So you're going to want to find that sweet spot where you're still working the 2 hours you want to work, but you have enough orders coming in barely at the price you're setting. So, if you're setting your price at $10 for an article and you're having too many orders, you're going to want to bump up the order price, and then you're going to get less orders, but you're going to be making more money with those orders. So I hope that makes sense. There's definitely a sweet spot. If you bump it up to $30 for an article, you might not have enough work to work that 2 hours per day that you want to. So For me personally, I have hundreds of reviews now on Fiverr, so that gets me ton of inquiries every single day about me writing for these websites or whoever. So the work will come in constantly at the prices I have set, and it gives me the right amount of work of how many hours I want to work per day on this. So for 200 words, right now, I personally charge $25. And then for 400 words, I charge $45. 600 words, I charge $60. So every increase in word amount, I actually give a little bit of a discount because I want to encourage people to order more words from me for more money. So believe it or not, I can write 200 words on any sport topic in less than 10 minutes. And 400 words actually takes me just a few minutes longer because most of those 10 minutes are spent on me coming up with the ideas. And after I get the ideas for the article, 200 words versus 400 words is essentially the same amount of time for me to put it down on paper in writing. So the ideas in my head to getting it down on paper is a really fast process. So 200 versus 400 doesn't really make a difference. And by incentivizing them, by giving them a slight discount on 400 words versus 200, I'm going to get more orders of 400 words and get paid more for just a little bit extra work, which I will definitely take 10 times out of 10. And another way you can do this is offering bulk discounts. So if someone needs 5 articles at 400 words each, instead of charging, $45 per 400 word article, I could charge $40 per article and give them a little discount for ordering more. So another incentive for them to order more articles in bulk, and they're typically going to be around the same topic. So if someone orders 5 articles, maybe it's 5 game previews for the NBA this weekend. So you can kind of get in a roll with doing bulk orders as well, and that makes it easier if that makes sense too. So on any given day, I write about 10 articles, and most of them are going to be around that 400 word mark. So for about 3 hours of work to write these 10 articles, I can make around $400. So I could charge less and get more work, but I'd prefer to work less for more money. So call me crazy, but that sounds pretty all right. And I think I've found the sweet spot here of how much I want to work on this and charging the right amount that I'm not flooded with too many orders, but I'm not charging too much where I don't have enough orders coming in, if that makes sense. So to even further scale this side hustle, you're going to need to take this off of freelancing sites because these websites like Fiverr and Upwork for freelancing will take 20% of your earnings. So if I made $400 in a day, but they all came from Fiverr, I would only take home $3,200. Sorry, $320, not 3,200. It's a crazy big margin that they take off of the top, but it's the cost that you have to pay for these freelancing sites sending you easy leads. So if you just went out there and created a website and expected leads to flow in that way, you're not going to get any basically. So that's basically the price you're going to pay. But to avoid this, what I did was I reached out to 200 websites. So I made a list of 200 websites I wanted to write for and sent them my resume and portfolio of writing that I now had. And yeah, I reached out to 200 websites. You heard that correctly, but it seems like a lot of work, but it took me less than half a day. It took me maybe an hour to come up with the list of these articles, and then I made like an email template, found the emails for all these websites and reached out to them. Probably took me 3-4 hours in total, and it paid off. So I got a handful of writing jobs for this, and say, they're paying me $100. I get to keep all 100 of that. They'll pay me via PayPal. Maybe you might get a small PayPal fee, but it's going to be just a couple percent, not 20% like these freelancing websites. So it definitely pays to take your services off of freelancing sites as well. So additionally, to get more customers and more orders and jobs, you're going to have to get a lot of repeat customers. So you're going to have to do quality work, obviously, but when you deliver every article to the client, whether that's via a freelancing site or an email, just ask them, like, what's next? Or what do you need next for your website as far as content writing? And if they say, hey, we don't need anything right now, maybe we need something in a week or 2 weeks or even a month, definitely make note of that somewhere, whether that be on a document you have, just like a little reminder, or on a calendar to reach out to them again in a couple of weeks. Or if you don't hear any response back from them, just go back through your old orders and reach out to those people after a couple of weeks. It could even be after a month, and ask them, hey, like, do you need anything else? That definitely helps. It's a simple strategy, but it definitely helps and works quite a bit and pretty often. So for scaling this side hustle overall, a score out of 10, I would give it a 10 out of 10. I mean, how many side hustles can you work 3 hours per day and literally make $400 in a day writing just 10 articles? So you can get really fast at this and really good at this. And I've been doing this for over a year now, and basically found the sweet spot of, getting orders at a price that I'm comfortable with and providing a good service here. Another step to even further scale this is you could take on more work than you can handle, and you could pay someone to write it for you, and you essentially would just work as a middleman. So I actually haven't really done this that much actually at all. I don't think I've ever paid anyone to write an article for me that someone else paid, but it's definitely a possibility if you can find a good writer who's willing to work for pretty cheap for you. Say you have a $60 article that someone paid you, you could pay someone else, $10 or $15 to write that article for you, and then you're just going to pocket the remaining amount. So by doing this, you could take on more work in orders than you could handle, and kind of just distribute out the work to someone else, and you'll work as the middleman. And from there, it's essentially passive income. You're just taking in orders, paying someone else to do it, and then sending it back to the client or whoever orders it from you. So on the overall side of this side hustle, I give it a 9 out of 10. And I'm going to give it a 9 because it's not going to be for everyone. Otherwise, I'd give it a 10 if anyone could do this. But to be honest, not everyone can do this. Not everyone likes to write or can write as fast as other people's. Like for me, I can write a 200-word article in under 10 minutes. That might take someone else an hour. And then at that point, it's not really going to be as worth it as it is for someone who can write fast or with a high quality. And some people, just being brutally honest, are not going to be good enough at writing quality content to be getting paid for it. And the people you're delivering it to, could catch a bunch of errors in it, or just think it's not high quality and not want to pay you or continue to work with you. So it is not 100% for everyone, but I think everyone can learn this if they do commit to it. So if you like writing, do it enough, and can get in a rhythm, it can definitely be extremely profitable and fun and an easy side hustle. Like for me, this is pretty easy right now. And the key takeaways for this side hustle are going to be starting slow. So like I said, just start on freelancing sites, charge a cheap amount, $5 for a short article, build up that reputation, get some repeat orders, get some reviews, and over time you'll start just getting more orders that you can handle, and then you could bump up your prices slowly over time. Once the demand of orders you have coming in compared to the hours you want to work per day on this, that's when you should start to bump those prices up. So if you guys enjoyed this first episode, episode 1, follow us on Spotify and subscribe to us on YouTube as well. Also, check out one of the other episodes out now, and we'll see you in another episode.